Giants fans, welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We've got a trade candidates video on some big-name Giants, but first, I need a favor from you guys. We are on the brink of reaching 2.5K subscribers here on Giants Now, and I want to get there after this video. So if you're a Giants fan, you want to stay up to date on everything surrounding the Giants, free daily videos on the latest Giants news and rumors, go down and hit that big red button. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and it is trade candidate video today. The NFL trade deadline is just around the corner, and after the brutal loss against the Los Angeles Rams, trade rumors for this New York Giants roster are starting to fly around. And the first guy I want to touch on is the safety, Jabrill Peppers. Jabrill Peppers, this was his first game back from missing 2 games due to injury yesterday against the Rams, and he got kind of embarrassed yesterday when guarding Cooper Kupp in the slot. A weird game plan yesterday by Patrick Graham. Peppers, he's not really known as a cover guy, but for some reason they had him in the slot guarding Cooper Kupp, and it did not go well for him. 9 grabs, over 100 yards for Kupp, and a touchdown. Peppers, the reason I have him on this video, he's set to be a free agent at the end of the season, and contract talks between the Giants and Jabrill Peppers have been rather quiet. It doesn't seem like the Giants are really all that interested in bringing Peppers back, especially not on a big deal. Last year, Peppers had his best season in the NFL. Career highs almost across the board in every statistical categories. But now with the emergence of the second-year safety, Xavier McKinney out of Alabama, it makes Jabrill Peppers expendable, and I would not be surprised if the Giants move off from Peppers. And when I was coming up with this list, I thought to myself, could the Giants get a 5th-round pick in return from Peppers? I know some of you guys are going to say, whoa, Jabrill Peppers, he's way better than a 5th-round pick. But a team trading for him knows that he's set to be a free agent, and his best years are probably behind him. Peppers, at this point, he's a run-stopping safety. I don't want to say he's bad when it comes to being a pass defense or a coverage type of safety, but he's damn sure not good at it. That's not where he excels. He excels being in the box and being good against the run. I just think Peppers is a guy that is not in the long-term plans for the New York Giants. And if you could get maybe a 5th-round pick for Peppers, I think you'd have to do it because I don't really think he's going to be a Giant next season. But let me know what you guys have to say. I want to hear what you guys have to say throughout this video, so voice off and sound off in the comments section down below. Should the Giants trade Jabrill Peppers before the NFL trade deadline? If you want him to trade Peppers, go down and type your T for trade, or if you want to keep him, go down and type your K for keep. The second player on this list, last week, or it was actually a couple weeks ago, we did a trade Saquon Barkley video, and you guys, no one wanted to trade him, but I want to hit it again. Number 2 on this list, Saquon Barkley. I know a lot of you guys are going to say, Marshall, we can't trade Saquon Barkley. There's no way we could move Saquon Barkley. But guys, Saquon Barkley, he's hurt again. And I kind of have started to think to myself, is Saquon Barkley just going to be one of those running backs or one of those players in the NFL that continues to be hurt after hurt, injury after injury? I know this was one of those injuries that he couldn't really, hold off, and it sucked because it was an incidental injury. He stepped on the foot of a defensive back, but he's hurt. And at a position like running back, you can't be hurt. You have to be able to play hurt, and Saquon Barkley has shown he hasn't really been able to do that so far through his Giants tenure. Next year, Barkley will be playing on his 5th-year option on his rookie deal, being paid at about $7.2 million, which is a good amount for a running back. And the reason I think the Giants should at least be taking calls on Barkley is because second contracts for running backs rarely go well. Call up the Dallas Cowboys and see what they have to say about giving Ezekiel Elliott that big contract extension. I think they'd regret it. No doubt about it. You have to be taking and making calls about Saquon Barkley. It sucks because I love Saquon Barkley. When the Giants spent a number two overall pick on him, I was thrilled. I was ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, we're going to get a running back that can be one of the best in the NFL and be a game changer. But if I were to trade Saquon Barkley, I would need a first-rounder back in a trade. I know that's crazy to think you can get a first-round pick for a running back, but let's not forget, just a couple years ago, the Houston Texans, they traded a third-round pick for Duke Johnson. Saquon Barkley, he is a much better player than Duke Johnson. That's not even close. Last time we did a video like this, I asked you guys, would you trade a third rounder for Saquon Barkley? And if there were 100 comments, 98% of them said no. So I want to know what you guys have to say about this one. If you would trade Saquon Barkley for a first-round pick. I mean, at the end of the day, Saquon Barkley, he's been clowned a little bit for being a New York Giant. They've said he's the mascot, the overpaid running back mascot. But I want Saquon Barkley to be a Giant for the future. But I question if that's the best for this team. So get down in the comments and let me know what you have to say. I'm curious. You guys, you kind of bashed me last time, which is okay. I want to be bashed if I say something that you guys don't agree with. So let me know what you say and you're thinking right now. Would you trade Saquon Barkley for a first round pick? If you would, go down and type Y for yes. Or if you wouldn't, go down and type N for no. Player number 3 on the list, our buddy, our good old friend, Evan Engram. I mean, I just think it's time for Evan Engram to get out of town. Quickly and shortly put, Evan Engram, he's worn out his welcome for the New York Giants. It just seems like any time Evan Engram is on the field and he doesn't make a play that he should make or he makes a mistake, Giants fans are booing him. And I don't want to be the soft guy that says he doesn't deserve that because he's lost us games. There's no doubt about that. He's had the case of the drops. He's fumbled when the game's on the line. But I do still think there's some hope for Evan Engram. I just don't think it is with the New York Giants. The Evan Engram experience, it just didn't work out. This was supposed to be the new generation tight end coming to the New York Giants that they spent a first-round draft pick out of Ole Miss, and it just hasn't worked. Engram, he's fool's gold for this Giants team. You think you're getting one of these new dynamic seam-stretching tight ends, but he was never that. Someone that you could just never count on. But the reason I would trade Evan Engram is because he's going to be a free agent at the end of this season, and getting something in return for Engram is better than nothing. I just think you need to at least be taking and making phone calls because it's time. There's no doubt about it. Evan Engram has not lived up to the hype. And yesterday, entering the game, where you had injuries to guys like Kadarius Toney who left in the first quarter, Kenny Golladay didn't play, Sterling Shepard was coming back from a 2-game absence, Darius Slayton wasn't playing, and your second receiver and third receiver were just not good players, and players like Dante Pettis. And you put up 3 receptions for 24 yards when the Giants needed you the most. It was disappointing for a Giants fan to see, and a guy that drank the Kool-Aid on Evan Engram, like myself. Yesterday was the type of game where he could have shut up all haters and shown that the Giants offense can count on him, but once again, he fell short of expectations and showed he is a player the Giants cannot count on. But something you can count on is BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code CHAT125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. Marshall, what does that mean? That means if you go to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code CHAT125, and when you deposit $100, they will match that with a 125% deposit bonus, meaning you have $225 to play with and gamble with and bet on games on Sundays. And if you want to win some money, listen to me, because I've been hot recently when it comes to the NFL. I just crossed over 500. I struggled a couple weeks ago, but I'm back. I'm back in the green, and I was green this past Sunday, 4 for 5. I mean, it sucked. I bet on the Cowboys, but at the end of the day, I think they're a really good football team, and they got out of New England with a win. I took the Packers over the Bears, Chiefs over the Washington football team. I'm all in on Kyler Murray. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the Arizona Cardinals, they are my favorite to make it to the Super Bowl right now. Kind of the chalk pick since they're the only undefeated team in the NFL left. And the Chargers, I'm not wrong, as my producer Matthew Peavy would say. They are wrong. I was right when I picked the Chargers, but they didn't show up. Lamar Jackson, he's playing like an MVP candidate again, and he showed why he is somebody to be taken seriously, one of the best players in the NFL. But if you want to get started with BetUS, head to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code CHAT125 to get a 125% deposit bonus. I've been asking you guys recently to hit me up on Twitter and give me a follow, and I'd give a shout out to guys that have recently followed. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to show 10 guys, 10 people that have recently followed, and I want to say thank you to everybody that's done it. My guy Bobby and Quan, DJ, Lewis, Michael, RMT. Then we have Elijah, Andrew, London, Jay Pena, and GT500CA. Guys, I really want to give a big thanks to you because I'm trying to grow my Twitter clout, and I want my followers on Twitter to be full of Giants fans, and we're getting there. So thank you guys for following me on Twitter, and I'll be doing this on another video coming up very soon. So if you want to get on the show, follow me on Twitter. It's right underneath me, at @MarshallGreen_. I'm tweeting about the Giants every single day, all day. So hit me up at @MarshallGreen_ on Twitter. Trade candidate number 4, the wide receiver Darius Slayton. I like Darius Slayton. There's no doubt about it. You can clearly tell that him and Daniel Jones have a comfortability together when they work together on the field. But I think the way that the Giants have just invested in the wide receiver position when it comes to a guy like Sterling Shepard, who got a big contract extension. They cashed out Kenny Golladay. They spent a first-round pick on Kadarius Toney. Those 3 guys 100% are going to be on the roster next year. But when it comes to a guy like Darius Slayton, who's still young and cheap, can you move him for maybe a 5th or 6th round pick in the upcoming draft? He has a cheap contract, and he's going to be able to move. He's a free agent in 2 years, which is something you have to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, I think Slayton, he's a good player. But if someone's willing to give up a good draft pick, maybe a 5th or 6th rounder, you have to take the calls. I would keep Slayton, but I would listen to calls. He's someone that has a connection with Daniel Jones, and when he's healthy, when he's on the field, which has been few and far between because he has struggled with injuries, missing the last 3 games due to a hamstring, he's a nice deep threat, a really good deep threat when healthy, and that's something that I want to see Daniel Jones do more, is throw the ball down the field. And right now, outside of John Ross, who has that one deep catch against the New Orleans Saints, he is the Giants' best deep threat wide receiver, no doubt about it. I would keep Slayton, but I think it would be unfair to the Giants and the best interest of the New York Giants if you weren't at least taking and making phone calls on the 24-year-old wide receiver. Once again, these are the 4 Giants trade candidates that I think are most likely to be traded. I don't think Saquon Barkley will be traded, but it would be irresponsible of Dave Gettleman to not be listening to phone calls. So out of these 4 guys on screen, or if there's anybody else on this Giants roster that you want to be moved, go down in the comments and let me know. Get your votes in. What player do you want the Giants to trade before the 2021 NFL trade deadline? It's just around the corner, and you have to be thinking about it. And Dave Gettleman, he is 100% thinking about it. So go down in the comments and get your votes in right now.